And they're off. Diaghilev out quickly. Chapter 1 on the far outside is a little bit quicker. And here's Lucky flashing sharp early foot. Those three vie for command. With Sands of Time in fourth, 3 lengths off the lead, followed by Toby's Honor racing on the inside of Work, and no early speed whatsoever from Flamboyant, who's close to 15 lengths off the pace up top. Chapter 1 is the leader to the half-mile pole, prompted by Sands of Time. 3 lengths back, Lucky third, Diaghilev in fourth, then Toby's Honor and Work, and 8 or 9 back to Flamboyant. Around the far turn, Chapter 1, a half length in front, Sands of Time right up alongside, and just behind them, it's been a good trip for Lucky. Diaghilev outside of him in the 3 path. Another 3 Work outside Toby's Honor and Flamboyant. Top of the lane, and Chapter 1 goes on, opens up to Lucky, Diaghilev. In between horses, Toby's Honor is finishing with a dangerous rally, and on the outside, Work, a 16th to go. Driving finish. Outside Work, Toby's Honor, Diaghilev in between them. Toby's Honor, Work, Toby's Honor, Work wins it. Toby's Honor second, Diaghilev third. And what a move from Flamboyant to get into a photo for fourth from way out of it. Bring it. We're in the gate. And they're off. Call Me Corey is very quick away from the gate. The last straw flashing good speed too. And Silver Rice comes away just behind them in third. Silent Way moving through on the inside takes that third spot. And one more time at the back of the field. It's Call Me Corey who gets an easy lead of 2 lengths over to Last Straw coming to the half-mile pole. Now it's almost 3. At the rails, Silent Way inches closer in third. Silver Rice hard-ridden, 5 off the leader. And one more time is inside of him. They're coming to the 3/8 pole behind Call Me Corey, dictating terms by 2. The Last Straw trying to cut into that margin second. He's within a length of the front runner now. Then Silent Way third, 3 lengths off the pace, shaken up. A big gap back to one more time, a quarter of a mile to go. And Call Me Corey hugs the rail, leads by a length, chased intently by the Last Straw, who's right to him now. These two square off, 1 furlong out. The Last Straw confidently ridden on the outside, up to take the lead from Call Me Corey. And the Last Straw waves goodbye, striding out impressively to score by 3.5 lengths. Call Me Corey was second. Silent Way finished third, then one more time. We're in the gate. And they're off. Molly Jensen is the fastest out of the gate. Cloudy Women. Now here's Funny Facts coming through, and Fancy Facts takes over. Spurts clear to lead it by 3. Molly Jensen in second. They're followed by Newport Dreams at the rail, and Willow Cove is just inside of her, sneaking through that very slim opening. In the meantime, Cloudy Women has settled nicely, 6 lengths off this loose leader up top. They are followed by the gray Sweet Delta Dawn. Coiffeur races inside Darlin Tammy. The 2 trailers are Morgan's Bluff and With Love at the back. Fancy Facts flies around the far turn, has a 2-length lead. Molly Jensen cuts right back into that margin, and Newport Dreams inside of her. Cloudy Women is in the thick of it, fourth, angling to the outside. They're followed by Willow Cove, Sweet Delta Dawn, Darlin Tammy far outside. 1 furlong left, and Fancy Facts is clinging to the lead. Cloudy Women takes up the chase on the outside of Newport Dreams. It's Fancy Facts by 2 close to home. Fancy Facts in front-running fashion. Cloudy Women completes the exacta. Then Newport Dreams and With Love took her time going, and go she did at the end, finishing 4th full of run. And they're off. Even start. Jaguar John is out alertly, but it is Tiger in My Tank who's fastest of all. And Tiger in My Tank opens up almost two. Atomic Drop in second. They are followed by Jaguar John in third. Here's Dirty Words fourth, 3.5 or so off the lead. 406 Creed is down at the rail. Raging Waters is next. Then comes Winds of Freedom, mid-pack with 6 to make up on the inside of Joint Venture, and 3 more to the grade, Gypsy Tears. 3 furlongs out, Tiger in My Tank leads over Jaguar John, a length and a half away second. Now suddenly Dirty Words is coming under heavy pressure, and the favorite is back to fifth in between horses as Atomic Drop moves through on the inside to take third. A wide bid from Joint Venture, who has to go about 5 wide in the process, top of the lane, and Tiger in My Tank narrowly. Jaguar John pressing him hard. These two past the 8th pole, and Jaguar John is up to take the lead. Tiger in My Tank not done. He's fighting all the way to the wire. Jaguar John or Tiger in My Tank. Jaguar John gets the upper hand and wins it by a length. Tiger in My Tank was second. Joint Venture third. Atomic Drop ran fourth. The King goes in. We're in the gate. And they're off, and Maul comes out smoothly on the inside. 19th hole has speed, but it's Zagreus who's quickest of all, and Zagreus is trying to move over and clear the field. He's done so now, as Diego Herrera will control the tempo. High King moves up on the outside with 19th hole at the rail, and Hard to Be Better Now is in between those two. They are followed by Wasting Aces, who's on horse's heels into the turn, followed by Shapoval in the clear, 4 lengths off the pacemaker. Another 2 back to Star of Delhi, who's just in front of Maul. Benny's Puzzle is second to last, and Rich Reward is at the back of the field. They're covered by about 10. Onto the backstretch, Zagreus taken a hold of, leads the way a length and a half. To High King second, Hard to Be Better Now next to him. Shapoval is 3 deep. 19th hole. 4 lengths off the lead with a half mile to travel. Wasting Aces is just off of him. Then comes Star of Delhi in the green silks. A length to Maul. At the rail comes Benny's Puzzle second to last, and Rich Reward continues at the back. Zagreus, Hard to Be Better Now, comes to apply some pressure as they head to the quarter pole together as one, with Shapoval 3 deep in third. Under pressure now is High King, fourth there at the top of the stretch. Hard to Be Better Now is up to put his head in front. Zagreus battling bravely at the rail. They're head and head with a furlong left to go. Out in the center of the course, Shapoval, Star of Delhi is next. And between horses, here's Benny's Puzzle, splitting rivals with a nice late bid. 19th hole running a big one on the inside. Zagreus just in front. Here is the line. Photo finish. Benny's Puzzle might have got him. He and Zagreus hit the wire together. Behind them, Hard to Be Better Now in 19th hole. It's a close photo in race 5. We're in the gate. And they're off. Love Lock bounces out very quickly. Go Prancelot is flashing good early speed too, and they are joined by Savannah's Big Girl moving up to take second. Dustum 2, Stars Hollow is in the mix through the opening furlong, and She's Back Extreme outside, just 3 lengths off the lead. It's then a gap of 3 or 4 lengths to the next flight, headed by Willow in the Wind, who's 2 lengths in front of Tina's Princess. Real Lucky in Love is next on the outside. Big Miss is moving through down at the rail. Then comes Julia Street. Little Originaire is next, and a gap back to Southern Riff, who trails. Lovelock, 3 furlongs out, leads leads the way by a length. Stars Hollow trying to close the gap, but under serious pressure in second. Then Savannah's Big Girl in third. On the far outside comes She's Back in fourth. Just in behind them, Willow in the win. They're at the top of the stretch. And Love Lock has something left. 2-length lead, 1 furlong out. Stars Hollow chasing on the outside. Savannah's Big Girl down at the rail. Here's Willow in the win, closing stoutly. From nowhere is Big Miss, driving finish. The new leader, Savannah's Big Girl, close to home. And Savannah's Big Girl wins it. Another for Kimura. She's Back was second. Then came Willow in the win, finishing third. Big Miss was fourth. And they're off. Claire Austin, No Cap. Those two battling for the lead, and they're joined by Pura Vida Princesa, who's intent on getting to the top. Behind them, Rosa Parks is racing at close-up fourth, only 3 lengths off the lead as they run down the hill. She's just inside of No Cap. Then Helga Brandt, followed by Dare to Fly. Take Another Card is next. Candy Bar in the pink, passing horses widest of all. Then it's Catonia, Eiffel, and She's Misbehaving is at the back of the field. Continuing their run down the hill, Pura Vida Princess on the inside, just in front, getting pressure from Claire Austin. These two arriving at the quarter pole right together. Claire Austin has her neck in front. Just behind them, Rosa Parks in third. Candy Bar, widest of all, floating even wider than that as they reach the top of the stretch, where the lead belongs to Pura Vida Princesa. Between horses, No Cap is trying hard. Rosa Parks on the inside. Claire Austin weakening a bit. Candy Bar is outside of her. Pura Vida Princesa keeps on going under Mirko de Moro. She's full of run and has been throughout, winning by 2.5. Rosa Parks completes the exacta. No Cap was third, Candy Bar fourth. Gate. And they're off in the Palos Verdes. It was a clean start, and Pilot Commander is the fastest out of the gate. Modus Bestia comes away in second. Mano Rose at the rail, a joint third. Listen Up Chance is just outside of him, taking that third spot. 2 more back to Smooth Cruisin', who is the trailer. Pilot Commander, the leader to the half-mile pole, pressed mildly by Modus Bestia. A length and a half, Listen Up Chance in third. The California-bred Mano Rose, a close-up fourth, 3 lengths off the lead into the far turn, and another 3 to Smooth Cruisin'. Less than 3/8 to go, and it's Pilot Commander and Modus Bestia, 1-2 every step of the way. Listen Up Chance on the outside third. Mano Rose, purple colors fourth, looking for a spot to run with a quarter of a mile to go. Listen Up Chance makes a wide bid after Pilot Commander, who's set down. Pilot Commander and Listen Up Chance head and head, and Mano Rose joins the party on the outside. They're in the final furlong. Mano Rose comes up to Listen Up Chance. Mano Rose remains undefeated on the Santa Anita main track with a resounding victory in the Palos Verdes. It pays to be Calbred. Listen Up Chance was second. Pilot Commander finished third. Schools Open Company in the Palos Verdes. Coco-san will follow Uncle Happy into the gate. Coco-san, the clear-cut 2-1 favorite in the final stages of wagering. Going in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Captain Chuchis, as usual, is out very alertly and will vie for the lead. T'Challa is flashing good foot and wants that front. Catch the Breeze is just behind them in third, and Baldoro racing in fourth. Then Cocosan fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. None Above the Law is next. Amplitude is toward the back of the field, has 8 or 9 to make up. He's guided over to the inside. Just in behind them is On the Whim. Uncle Happy went by that pair in the yellow colors. He's 3 deep, and it's a gap of 5 to Zalama, who trails. Moving on to the backstretch, and it's T'Challa in hand, in command, leading by a length and a half. Captain Chuchi's on that win streak, is racing in second. Then Catch the Breeze in third. Baldoro is in fourth. None Above the Law is 8 lengths off the pace. Cocosan is next. Uncle Happy racing on the outside of Amplitude with less than a half mile to travel. On the Whim, patiently handled, close to 15 lengths off them, and Zalamo inches up behind him. It's T'Challa who's been there every step of the way, but Captain Chuchis is now starting to apply serious pressure, and Captain Chuchis comes for the lead with a quarter of a mile to go. Catch the Breeze will angle to the outside for the drive. Cocosan, Orange Cap is on the extreme outside. None Above the Law looking for a spot to run, and Baldoro is in the mix too. On the Whim, late Captain Chuchis confronted by Catch the Breeze. These two are head and head. Captain Chuchis very game, trying to get his winning streak intact. Baldoro with a late run, and On the Whim, Captain Chuchis keeps the streak alive. On the Whim came flying for second. Then it was Baldoro third. None Above the Law was in the mix too, and fifth between Catch the Breeze and for $140.40.
Hi, everybody, and hope you had a great week. And you know the reason why? Because we've got a great weekend in store for you here at the Great Race Place. The reasons why are today we have a 9-race card, which is an all-dirt card because we had some rain earlier in the week. But we've got a $34,000 traditional Pick 6 carryover. That'll start in race number 4. And did you hear the news about the Sunset Pick 6? That's the new wager, $1 minimum, linking the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park with the last 3 races at Santa Anita. Nobody has solved that riddle the last 2 days. That carryover is $64,000. So effectively, we have 2 Pick 6 carryovers today. And so we need a sharp handicapper to kind of guide us through that process. I've got him. He's been on the seminar before. He's very sharp. His name, Chris Victor. Chris, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. Now, of course, we've got 2 carryovers, but I was looking through your X feed, and I wound up finding a winner's circle photo of you and Matt Chu and Evan Roman. I think the year, correct me if I'm wrong, was 2004, maybe something like that. You don't look that old. You couldn't have possibly owned a horse 21 years ago.
You know, I've been fortunate enough that I've been in the game a long time, and yeah, that was a great day. I believe it was a $49 winner that day for us, so it was exciting, and yeah, continuing to enjoy the sport today.
I've asked you this before, Chris, but where did your passion from horse racing come? Did your dad bring it at an early age? Did your friends bring you out here? Like, where did it all start?
Sure, yeah, no, it was my father and my grandfather started bringing me here in the infield at Santa Anita. Obviously, that's changed a ton since then, but obviously going to summers at Del Mar were some of the best memories I have growing up. So yeah, just a young age and continuing to enjoy the sport today.
Now, you're a sharp horse player, but you also like gambling in general. And one of the things that you've really accomplished over the last year or two is finishing in a payoff spot for the World Series of Poker. Talk to us about how many people were in the field. This was the main event. How many people were in the field, where you finished, and what your payout was?
Sure. So I played in the 2024 main event at 10,112 entrants, and I finished 199 out of those entrants. So in the top 2% there. Long 5-day haul. It was an experience I'll never forget, and looking forward to trying to get back there this year.
What was the payout that you got for finishing around 100?
We finished at 60,000.
Not a bad payday for 5 days.
Not a bad day at all. It was definitely the worth of 12-hour grind all day, so for 5 days.
And at the racetrack, there's bad beats. When you got knocked out right around the 100th spot, was that a bad beat, or was it just you lost to a better hand?
You know, definitely I feel like it was a bad beat. I had pocket 5s, flopped a set, and continued to shove all in. Unfortunately, I got some action for a draw, and he hit his draw for a straight on the turn, and that was that. But definitely a bad beat, I think, in my book.
You had to take the long walk home with the tail tucked between your legs. But 10,000 and some people had to do that walk. There was only one victor, but what a payday it was to that lone person standing.
Yeah, no, it was. It'll still stand as the largest entries in the WSOP main, and hasn't been broken as of last year. We'll see what happens this year, but it should be exciting field again.
Last weekend, last Saturday specifically, Chris, we had the Saudi Cup, and of course, Nisos ran his heart out, but he lost to probably the best horse anywhere in the world, who also was the winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic down at Del Mar, Forever Young. Yep. Did you watch the race? What did you think? Sure. I know Bob was disappointed because he had Nisos cranked, but Forever Young is just a beast.
I completely agree. I think speaking with a bunch of my friends and a couple exercise riders, Nisos ran his heart out. I think that, you can't argue that, and I think that he just ran into a monster win Forever Young. That horse is from a different planet. I think that, having a horse like that is a dream come true for anyone, but to see him just continuing to run and just continue to get better, I think is impressive. And he's not done yet. I think we're definitely going to see him back in the Classic, obviously, and that'll be another chance for Nisos to run him down again. Try.
As you mentioned, Chris, Mr. Baffert on record after the Saudi Cup that he wants to have another showdown, hopefully with Forever Young in the Breeders' Cup Classic, which this year will be the 1st November at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, I spend a lot of time in the paddock, as you know. I'm on X. You're on Instagram. You also like to spend a lot of time in the paddock. Talk to us about your Instagram account and what you're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah, so I run Instagram with Vic's Paddock Picks. This is something I started a couple years ago, just off a whim and enjoying it because I have the passion for the sport, and I really do enjoy giving as much information as I can that I see. Just like you, I remember many, many moons ago giving you a horse, Nostradamus coming down the hill, 17-1, and that's just something I enjoy seeing in the paddock. These horses, how they look in the flesh, and the form gives you a lot of great insight. But actually seeing these animals in the flesh and being able to share that with the community that I've grown and love. We do Free Card Friday on Instagram almost every Friday, so you get the full card, all top 3 selections, and we do it for fun. And then Saturday and Sunday we dive a little bit deeper, give trip notes, and a lot of great insight that if I am here on site, obviously I see you, but I get to give out that information live and do it in a way that, is an independent journalist type thing.
So on Instagram or IG, your handle is Vix Paddock Picks?
Vix Paddock Picks.
VICS?
Yeah, VICS Paddock Picks.
Fair enough. Okay, great job on that, of course, because I know that you do the work. You're also behind the scenes as a horse owner, as we've talked about, and you're in the paddock. So for those people who are watching, who maybe, are intimidated by looking at horses, I can't tell you the number of times people who have really never been to the races come up to me and say, well, a horse looks like a horse. In my opinion, that couldn't be farther from the truth, because they're all very distinct and all very different. But maybe what are one or two things you could teach some of the newcomers watching today that either you look for in the paddock or that happen behind the scenes at the barn that you kind of include in your handicapping?
For me, it's definitely starts from the walkover from the receiving barn, and to see how their demeanor is, if they're on edge, and by on edge, they're on their toes, but they have a little bit more of the wetness or a sweaty feeling, just as you and I would get if we were nervous. We would have a little bit of a sweat, but more of the professional look. And horses are very emotionally intelligent animals. They know when they're going to race,
100%.
And when they're having a good day, they're going to show you that in their flesh. We talk about it a lot, within racing, but dappled out when they look, I describe it as a checkered board. It's kind of the easiest way I can describe it to someone who's not familiar with racing. But those little dots that you see on the horse, that tells me that horse is feeling good internally, is ready to go. And then ears forward and up is something I look for to make sure that they're aware of what's going on. It's race day and it's time to run, and making sure that they're not having that sweaty condition, specifically between their hind legs. Kidney sweat isn't really conducive to a positive picture, but confirmation is a lot of those things too. And if the, feet are straight, if they're too big, too small, sprint distance, a lot of those things factor in. But if you see a horse that looks good, looks shiny like a copper penny. I remember seeing journalism in the paddock with a few of my friends here, and didn't know it was journalism at the time, but that horse just looked like, a copper penny shining in the sun. And, we all know journalism ran his heart out in his campaign, and hopefully we see him back as well. But those are the things that I really look for, is the flesh, and then, kind of the attitude within the ears, and then how they're bouncing, or if they're not bouncing on their toes, they're kind of more of that relaxed fit. But yeah.
We're never nervous. We're never sweaty whenever we have Chris Victor as our seminar guest. He's going to walk us through today's 9-race card, which is an important task because, as I mentioned in the opening, 2 pick 6 carryovers, $34,000 here, the traditional $2 kind on races 4 through 9 here at St. Anita. Of course, the $1 Sunset Pick 6, $64,000 in that kitty. The last 3 races at Gulfstream Park are the last 3 races of that particular Pick 6. We're going to take a quick break, find out who the one scratch is so far on today's program from track announcer Frank Miramati. When we return, we'll find out who Chris likes. Don't turn that dial, as they like to say at commercial TV. We'll be right back.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast. There are no turf races scheduled today. Here are the changes, the early ones, not many. Blinker notes in race 1. We do have another Sunset 6 carryover. It starts with Gulfstream's 8th. Last 3 from Gulfstream. Last 3 from Santa Anita at $64,308. First starts the early pick 5. Race 2, no show wagering, with the scratcher number 3, Desert Cat. Early pick 4 starts with the 2nd. No changes in race number 3. The 4th starts the pick 6. There is a carryover. $34,288 in the $2 pick 6 carryover. Race 5 kicks off the late pick 5. No changes. We have a blinker note in race 6, first leg of the late pick 4. Couple of blinker notes. Race 7 starts the $3 late pick 3. No scratches or jockey changes. The 8th is the start of the $5 late double. Blinker note on the 1. And in the 9th, super high 5 is offered, and there are no changes. Pick 6 on races 4 through 9. Carryover 34,000 plus. Sunset 6 starts with Gulfstream's 8th. And that has a nice carryover. There have been many of them in the Sunset Pick 6. Today's 64,000. Coast to Coast Pick 5. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It starts today with Gulfstream's 9th. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. It's free Friday. Let's go back to the studio and resume Tom Quigley's seminar, Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Chris Victor.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with horse player Chris Victor. It's our pleasure to have Chris on the seminar today. As you just saw in the scenic shot, excuse me, we do have snow in the foothills right above Santa Anita, but the good news is no more rain here in Southern California. We had to cancel racing on Monday, unfortunately. I would say we got probably 3 to 4 inches of rain between then and last night. The good news, as you can see on the graphic, fast on the main track. Hats off to the entire track maintenance crew. They spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week here, making sure that the track is always in impeccable shape. So we are fast today on the main track. No turf racing with that $34,000 pick 6 carryover starting in race number 4. But first, the 50-cent early pick 5 is in race number, begins in race number 1, where we're sprinting 6 furlongs, 3-year-old fillies, maiden optional claimers. We've got a field of 6. The morning line favorite in the current betting choice at 5-2 on the tote board is number 4, Improbable You, going from turf to dirt, route to sprint, putting blinkers on for trainer Jonathan Thomas. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite in race 1, Chris?
I think it's definitely a thumbs up there. This horse fits on the cutback. Coming back to the dirt, Jonathan Thomas is 20% turf to dirt on this particular move. So I like this horse a lot. He's getting some relief here, but he's definitely up against some high price horses in here, as the race was written for RNA or not sold of 150,000 or less. So a couple in here that reach that mark and are going to be tough, but I do like Improbable You as my first pick. As well as number 3, Debbie's Gal, which is the second entry for trainer Richard Baltus. This horse just missed October 17th and is coming back off a nice little bit of a layoff and takes the blinkers off, but should settle in well and should be up on the speed as well today.
It's interesting you mentioned the $150,000 threshold. If you've got the past performances in front of you, those watching, you can see Richie Baltus's other filly on the rail, number 1, 80s Music, was actually bought exactly for $150,000, which is why she qualifies for this race. Certainly Debbie's Gal fits in this particular race, as Chris mentioned as well, Improbable You taking all the action. Then I wanted to mention a statistic courtesy of Brad Free at the Racing Form. This applies to all 6 furlong dirt races today that we have. This is Brad Free's statistic for so far this meet. The outside post at 6 furlongs on the main track is 9 for 33. It doesn't even matter what ability you might have, but there's a 27% win percentage for outside runners drawn in 6 furlong dirt races. So Kintrigue, who is trained by Phil D'Amato, the first-time starter, certainly fits that profile. And we'll see that profile also on today's 9th race as well, where probably the post-time favorite, Coach Cronin, is going to break from the outside post, traveling 6 furlongs. But first things first, Chris, race number 2. Let's turn the page. It begins the 50-cent early pick 4. Again, sprinting 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds in for a $25,000 tag. Scratch to 3 leaves us with a field of 4. Number 2, Flashy Fritz from the Steve Miotti barn is 8-5 on the morning line. Edwin Maldonado back in town after being victorious in the Sunland Park Derby. Give us your thoughts on race 2.
I went actually to number 4, AP again for trainer Steve Knapp. This horse is going to show a lot of speed here, and I feel like with off the claim as well, Steve is a 23%, and that's a great move and a great percentage for him. So I'm looking him to be our second choice here as well, and to get on the lead. And with the track being a little bit wet, hopefully that speed sticks. But for my second choice, I like number 5, Wave with Envy. I've actually known this mare, or the mother of this horse, Jade with Envy, for many years, up visiting McGauley Farms, now Richard Barton Enterprise or Barton Thoroughbred. But I like the outside post here with Kimura. He's going to be sitting a nice stalking pace outside. But I really like the November 28th speed there, where he showed a lot of speed, and he's coming back into a claiming ranks and not the optional claiming state bred level. So I think that little bit class relief there is going to help him as well.
A couple additional comments on what you just already said, Chris. First, Mike comment, AP again, your top choice. You can see added LASIX last time out and not only wound up winning, but also earned a career best buyer speed figure. So maybe LASIX is the key to AP again. And you mentioned visiting the farms with number 5 Wade with Envy and the person who now owns the farm, Richard Barton. How many farms in Southern California have you been to? In other words, have you been to Legacy Ranch? Have you been to Love Acres? And what's the purpose in you going to those farms when you do go visit?
Sure. I haven't been to Love Acres. Definitely would love to go out there and visit it. I've had many invites, and definitely one of these days I'll take them up on that. But the purpose is just to see, what the enterprise does and how they take care of horses and what really goes into what a layup looks like. And, being that I haven't been back to Magali or Barton Thoroughbreds, I know the grounds very well. I know what is there and how these horses kind of get laid up and the life that they live. And it's a very well put together facility, as I'm sure most of these places are. Kingfisher Farms is another place that I visited, and another great facility where these horses just, it's a 3-month spa adventure is what I say, right? And they just get treated so well. They get to act like horses on a normal, just out in the pastures and enjoying life. And not that they don't enjoy life here, they get taken very much more better care as far as just the hands-on 24/7 care that they would get at the track. But, how these horses are continually conditioned and not to lead up into racing. And that's, for me, is important. And, the types of services that you get at these farms are second to none. And they're taking care of the investments that we make as owners. And it's important that, as an owner, no matter what level you're in, where those farms are and how they are working with your horses and what type of the equisizer plates, the aqua, pools and things like that are all super important for ability, strength, and just building up, especially 2-year-olds coming into racing at 3. So those are the things that I enjoy, and the types of environment that they're going to be in. And you can't beat Southern California, or Central California, I should say. And coming to Southern California, it gets even better with the cooler weather.
If you take a step back, Chris, and really think about the economic engine that the thoroughbred industry is in the state of California, it's a bit mind-blowing, isn't it? I'm going to get on my soapbox here a little bit with the politicians, and always the concern about thoroughbred racing. But A, there's an immense amount of love and care for all thoroughbreds, no matter where they might be, not just at the racetrack. But then B, just the financial investment that people are making to make sure that our sport continues to grow and thrive, hopefully, because all those people at the farms and all the money that is spent at auction, and it just goes on and on and on. The maintenance here at the racetrack, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like I mentioned earlier, it's a overwhelming type of investment from a labor standpoint and from a monetary standpoint.
It absolutely is. I think that most people just think of it as just the racetrack or just the front side and backside, but it really extends onto horse transports, even airlines and how we transport these horses across the country or even to other countries. I don't think many people know, but even the manure that gets dropped from the horses gets sent out to a mushroom farm to grow mushrooms. And, that's part of the ecosystem. It's not just about racing, but the jobs and all of the financials that go into this wonderful industry is massive. And it's not just here at the racetrack. It extends far beyond that. The vets, the hot walkers, the farm labor, and the farm people that take care of the farm. So the farms are up in shape, right? So the feed, from the growing of the crops to the hay and to the alfalfa, all of it, it's such a big enterprise in California. And as you said, it's something that I think that a lot of politicians don't understand or realize, but I think hopefully as we continue to fight for this sport, it'll be here.
It's up to all of us to fight for this sport. So make sure that you let everyone know that represents you that thoroughbred racing and the industry is here to stay. Race number 3, we might have some wonderful 3-year-olds in this particular race because it's for maiden special weights going 1 mile in the main track. Field of 5, take note, number 5, Playdress is a first-time gelding. The heavy morning line favorite at 4-5 is number 4, Blacksmith, who's been a bit of a disappointment up to this point. 4 career starts, 3 times beaten at odds-on favoritism. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Chris, I wanted to show a workout for Blacksmith. This was back on February 7th. This was a team drill. That is our friend Blacksmith down on the inside. Also take note of who his workmate is. None other than Boyd. We know who Boyd is. He's 2 for 2 so far. We haven't seen him in 2025. He's one of Bob Baffert's major Kentucky Derby contenders. Also Blacksmith, if he can get off the schneid today, I think we'll see him on the Kentucky Derby trail as well. But as we continue to watch this work, Blacksmith certainly holds off Boyd the entire time for this workout. It's 5 furlongs, and as you can see, it's not the typical Bob Baffert blazing move, but it's certainly quick, a minute and change. But Blacksmith, I think here kind of maybe proves to me, Chris, that maybe the light bulb is finally going on. Like I said, he's been a bit of an underachiever, but let's face it, today's third race is really his to lose.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. I think that early on in this horse's career, he didn't really have it figured out, like you said, but they obviously saw a lot of potential in this horse as they entered him in the LaSalle's Futurity Grade 2. And he finished second by 1 1/4 to litmus test. And that's, again, another great horse to talk about. But I think today he's definitely, in a good spot for himself, and he's going to be able to.
And let me just interrupt you here. You can see both exercise riders are kind of under a hand drive, but Boyd never gets by good old Blacksmith, and Blacksmith here on the Gallopbout continues to basically increase his small margin. So I think today it's now or never time for Blacksmith, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you make a very good point that he ran second to litmus test, also a Bob Baffert runner. So we know he has the ability. It's whether he can put it together today, and I think based upon the other runners in this field, you and I agree that Blacksmith is the one to beat.
Couldn't agree more with you. Absolutely. Being that there is a second entry here for Bob with Authentic Patriot, which is my second choice, this horse is going to get a second start today, and he's going to get JJ aboard. And I think this horse, again, had some great works with some great company. Being the second off, we're going to see what truly we have on our hands with Authentic Patriot, but definitely looking to Blacksmith to get it done today. Has all the ability in the world, and is definitely, like we said earlier, he's got something to prove today to make sure that we can keep him on our radar for that run for the Roses.
And Authentic Patriot, who's number 3 in race number 3, you make a very good point, because his race that he exits down at Del Mar probably was the most productive maiden special weight race of their Bing Crosby meet. The reason why I say that is there were three next out winners out of that race, including the winner, So Happy, who came back to win the Grade 2 San Vicente back in mid-January right here at the Great Race Place. So Authentic Patriot, Blacksmith, looks like Bob Baffert might have them surrounded in race number 3, but we'll find out. That's why they run the race. Race number 4 begins the fireworks. That's because it's the start of the pick 6, $34,000 already in the kitty. Once again, we're going 1 mile on the main track. $8,000 claimers, a field of 6. The Maury Lane favorite down on the rail, number 1, Austonian. 8-5 from the Bob Hess barn. Bob's been winning a bunch of races so far this meet. Do you expect him to add to his win total in race 4?
I absolutely do. I think coming back into this claiming ranks of 8,000, he ran off his layoff December 29th in a state bred optional 20 non-winners of 1, and unfortunately it was just a little bit tough for him, and Mr. Disrespectful just had a great day that day as well. But Estonian here again drops back to claiming. I like the work patterns coming in today, and off the work pattern or off the layoff Bob Hess is 22%, which I like above anything. More than anything, I do like Ayuso in the 29% category for the combo trainer jockey trainer combo.
Fair enough. And you also like number 5, which is a runner I like in here, Chris, and that would be Dark Marcus off the long layoff. Simon Hobson is not necessarily a person that I know personally, but if you look at his statistics for 2025, he's almost a 20% trainer. And I did some additional work on him because I was intrigued by his ability to train horses. It doesn't really reflect in the daily racing form, but over the last 5 years, he's brought horses back off 180-day layoffs or more 6 times over the last 5 years. He's won with 3 of them, and he's finished in the money with 3 of them. Basically, he's either winning at a 33 or in the money 50%. So it's not like a category where he can't get a horse ready. He gets Tiago Pereira to ride number 5, Dark Marcus. I think it looks like, based on the graphic, that you like him a little bit as well.
I do, and the reason I really like this horse is that he's protected today. He doesn't eligible for the claim because he's coming off of that layoff, and like you just stated, Tom, off of those layoffs, Simon Hobson is phenomenal, and you can't really argue with that. But I look back at the September 22nd, 2024, and that's kind of where this horse belongs, and it's where he's coming back today to run. And he's been running above his levels in all of these past races, and that optional claiming 6,000 at Santa Anita was a mile. So I love the mile back today, and I love that he's coming back into claiming, but he's ineligible for the claim again because he's coming off that layoff, which is a huge part of kind of knowing and reading these conditions and knowing when these horses are eligible or not.
And to muddy the waters just a little bit more in the first leg of the pick six, granted there's only 6 runners, but you could make a case that any of the 6 runners could win, including number 6, Tougher Than the Rest. And here's the reason why. This is courtesy our DRF formulator. I looked up this particular stat. Steve Knapp going sprint to route so far this meet. He's won with 4 of his last 5 that have done so. Here's the runners and the dates they won. You'll remember many of them. Last Call Paul on February 13th. Please Focus on January 30th. Berlin Wall on January 25th. And Tee and Off on January 23rd. So suddenly, the Steve Knapp barn has 7 wins so far this meet. 4 of them were going sprint to route, and certainly Victor Espinosa in the saddle is an added benefit for trainer Steve Knapp. Difficult way to kick off the pick six, Chris.
It's definitely a tough one, and it's going to be exciting to see who wins that.
Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We're sprinting 6 furlongs. Maiden claimer 3-year-olds in for a $32,000 tag. Field of 7, number 3, Aaron's taking a drop down in class for the KG. Sam Scalamari is the 7-5 morning line favorite. Tiago once again in the saddle. 7 ways you can go here, Chris. Which way you going and why?
I'm trying to go and beating the favorite here with number 5, Texas Wildcat. And I like this horse. He's going to be second off the layoff. When he came off the layoff, he ran second by 1 1/4 to Original On. And that race for me just sets up well for him to come into today and be able to get that extra half furlong and hopefully be successful and beat our second choice, the number 3 horse, Arnaz, like you just mentioned, for Sam Scalamari. This horse is also, again, second lifetime career start. But I look down at the statistics, maiden second start, Sam's 50% as well, and then turf to dirt, he's perfect with 2 tries and an average payout of $30.20. I don't think we're going to get there today, but I think that he'll definitely give everyone a run for their money.
Just to amplify that turf to dirt statistic for trainer Sam Scalamari, who trains number 3 and race number 5 over the last 5 years, once again, courtesy of DRF formulator. He's done it 7 times. He's won with 2 of them, so he's in the money 29%. He's finished in, I should say, he's won with 27% of them, and he's finished in the money with 5 of them. So 5 or 7 in the money turf to dirt, that equates to a 71% win percentage. So the first 2 races, races 4 and 5, might be won by trainers that are not necessarily household names, which would certainly inflate the payout of today's pick 6. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. This time we're sprinting 6.5 furlongs, $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime, field of 6. Number 5, Macho Man, is a first-time gelding, the morning line favorite. Number 3, Handsome Ticket, first off the claim for trainer Francisco Rodriguez. Also put blinkers on, Handsome Ticket. Also take note, I should say, that number 1, the Old 9, is also a first-time gelding. Waters get deep here as well. Chris, talk to us about race 6.
I went with number 2, Macy's Express, for trainer Doug O'Neill. Him and Mr. Hamarillo are just dominating, if you can say, 27% clip. And I like Doug off the layoff.
He's been a welcome addition to the jockey colony, Mr. Jaramillo.
Yeah, no, he's definitely elevated that room a lot, and I appreciate all the success that he's had because I've been following him on a lot of his winners at 20%. So appreciate all your help with that. But Doug here off the layoff, I do like it. I think this horse is in a position or in a level where he can capitalize again for not being eligible for the claim. He's off that layoff, and he's coming in today on some great work patterns, and he gets the top jock, in my opinion, in the race. But I do like as well the number 1, the Old 9. And the reason I like this horse, he drew the rail, but this horse is definitely going to appreciate the added distance today and coming back to the dirt. If we look down at the work lines, January 10th, he went 4 and 46 flat from the gate, and that's flying for this level, I believe. It's just in a great work and a great position. And the January 17th, he's just cruising in maintenance, but he's also a first-time gelding, blinkers on, and that's going to add to the mix today.
Similar to Dark Marcus in race number 5, Chris's top pick in race number 6. Number 2, Michi's Express, is also a waiver claim. The connections are taking advantage of that extended layoff. They get 2 chances to not run for a claiming tag, so certainly this horse is protected today. And you can see the back class for Michi's Express. If you go way back to January of 2024, he was actually the winner of the Cal Cup Derby. That was a $188,000 purse. So he has the ability. We'll see if Doug O'Neill can extract it from him this afternoon. Race number 7 is a very highly anticipated race because not only does it begin the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout, but it begins the last 3 races here at San Diego, which comprise the $1 Sunset pick 6, which has that $64,000 carryover. We've got a field of 7. Take note, number 1, Why Not Another One, is a first-time gelding, the morning line favorite. Number 2, Sharon's Beach at 3-2 on the morning line. Sharon's Beach, in my opinion, is going to be a likely single on many tickets, both for our pick 6 as well as for the Sunset pick 6. So let's take a closer look at Sharon's Beach's last race. We're going to watch the replay when Sharon's Beach ran on January 23rd. He's going to break from the outside post in a field of 6. Let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action and closely watch Sharon's Beach wearing saddlecloth number 6.
And they're off. Liam Smith is sprinting out for the early lead. Sharon's Beach came away in second. Another 3 back to Sharon's Angels moving through at the rail. And Bay Cruiser is in between horses. Ghost Written 5th, 4 lengths off the lead. And no early speed from Midnight Ambush in his debut. They head past the half-mile pole. And it is Liam Smith leading the way. Has it by a length and a half. Sharon's Beach second. Bay Cruiser, Sharon's Angels is down at the rail. Here's Ghost Written moving up on the outside now to claim third with 3 furlongs to run. Still a long way to Midnight Ambush. 5/16 out, Liam Smith to catch. 2-length advantage, Sharon's Beach. Ghost Written in third, followed by Sharon's Angels, and Midnight Ambush is now getting interested, moving up on the outside, top of the lane, and it's Liam Smith with a 3-length lead. Sharon's Beach trying hard to close the gap late. 4 lengths back to Ghost Written, Midnight Ambush on the outside, 16th pole. Liam Smith, Sharon's Beach just keeps coming on the outside. It's going to get close. Here it is. Go ahead.
Chris, you know, there's a lot of things to like about Sharon's Beach. Make no mistake about it. First of all, he earned an 89 Beyer speed figure in that particular replay that we just watched. I always like validating horses' Beyer speed figures because the horse that beat him came back to win for Jeff Mullins and earn a Beyer speed figure of 90. So the 89 certainly is validated. Also, Jonathan Thomas was planning to run Sharon's Beach in the Sunland Park Derby last Sunday and decided to scratch and run in this spot. The concern is if you're looking to be a contrarian, and I'm not saying he's going to get beat, but that replay we just watched was at 6.5 furlongs. Today's distance is 6, and he's not the quickest horse we've ever seen. You can see the jockey, Umberto Rispoli, that particular afternoon was asking him as they turned for home. He ultimately made up the ground, but he's drawn down inside. He's going to be a short price, yada, yada, yada. Having said all those positive and negatives, which way you leaning?
I'm definitely leaning when Sharon's Beach is my top pick, is for all the same reasons you just notated. And, you know, the biggest one is that Jonathan, didn't go to the Sunland. He came and stayed here for this horse, and I think that speaks volumes that he wants to win this race. But I couldn't agree more with you, Tom. My second horse in here is actually the one right next to it, Montana Jet for trainer Peter Miller. And the reason I like this horse a lot today is because this horse has worked consistently, but he's also worked 6 furlongs multiple times. And today's distance is 6 furlongs. And I don't think that the over 28 first-time starts for Peter Miller is going to stay that way for much longer. He's definitely a great horseman. He knows what he's doing here. But the works for me show that he's going to have the ability to hopefully maybe turn the table or get it done for Sharon's Beach, but more importantly, he's going to have a good race today.
Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double, also with a reduced 15% takeout. We've got a good field sprinting here, 5.5 furlongs, 3-year-old filly, California breds, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Field of 9, number 7, My Cat from the George Papa Bodromo barn is the 5-2 Maury Lane favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Chris, want to watch a workout courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com for My Cat. This particular drill we're about to watch is February 7th. My Cat is on the far outside in the blue cap. It's going to be actually a team drill of 4 runners as we continue to watch My Cat proceed and make progress on the outside in the blue cap. Take a look at who is in the black cap, who is the horse drawn right inside of My Cap. That would be none other than the runner we've been talking about, Litmus Test, who hasn't been seen since winning the Los Al Futurity in December for trainer Bob Baffert. So Litmus Test is on the comeback trail. Again, another Kentucky Derby contender from the Bob Baffert barn. But there's our friend Mike Cat on the outside. She has no aspirations to run in the Kentucky Derby or the Kentucky Oaks, and she kind of hangs tough here until mid-stretch before obviously being outclassed by Litmus Test. But having said all that, Chris, this wasn't a particularly bad workout for Mike Cat. Her 3 career wins, I understand, are all down at Delmar, but she's in there trying against a couple of Baffert monsters. She's the morning line favorite. You like her, or are you looking elsewhere?
No, I definitely do like her, Tom. And, that Umberto's on the sideline healing up. I like that Kimura gets on this horse. I think that he's just got such a positive energy and such great hands on these horses that he could just be the difference here today. And obviously that work pays a lot of dividends in who he's working or who she's working against. Definitely love and appreciate the level as well and the distance for this horse.
Race number 9 concludes the $2 pick six, also concludes the Sunset pick six, also offers $1 super high five wagering, and we're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Once again, cab bred allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of one other than. A field of 7, the Maury Lane favorite, drawn on the outside, number 7, Coach Cronin, who's 9-5 on the Maury Lane. You mentioned Kaz Kabur in your discussion for my cat in the most recent, in race number 8 that we just discussed. We'll take a look at the PPs for Coach Cronin. Kaz Kabur has ridden this particular gelding two times in the last 4 efforts. Wound up being victorious in both attempts. Also, last time out, Coach Cronin had some trouble down inside. Now draws that favorable outside post, as I mentioned. If Coach Cronin and Sharon's Beach win, the pick 6 is going to be a little bit diluted and not pay all that much. If one of them loses, it'll pay okay. And if both of them lose, then it's going to pay very, very well. You think we can beat Coach Cronin in the nightcap, Chris?
No, I take the same notes as you there with Kazushi Kimura. He's 2 for 2 already with this horse, looking to make it 3 for 3. I'm not really sure how you beat him today. But if we do have a shot with it, I think it's on the rail again with One Smoking Dude. This horse comes into the claiming, is eligible for the claim and is offered for the claim today. I just scratched your line through that mile turf race, just because this horse likes the dirt a lot more. Couple different the trainer changed back to Miotti from the Los Al trainer as well, is a big indicator for me that this horse is kind of just getting back into this groove, back into the same barn that he's kind of been in, and didn't finish too far back from Coach Cronin, as he finished second 2.5 lengths back off the layoff as well. So he's got a couple more races and a couple more works coming in today, and maybe if we can get that win today, that payout will be a little bit bigger for us.
Chris, thanks so much for the time and insight. You really do all the work, and you're obviously a huge supporter of thoroughbred racing. So thank you so much, not only for supporting the horses through the window, but also through horse ownership. I believe you're going to have another runner running next Saturday if all goes well.
Yeah, next Sunday, hopefully.
Next Sunday?
Yeah, next Sunday.
What's the horse's name? So
American Glory.
American Glory. Fair enough.
Yep.
Hopefully Florent Giroux will be back in the saddle. Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate the time. Before we let you go, just a couple of quick reminders. Coast to Coast Pick 5, we haven't talked about that at all, but of course it comprises many races from both Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. Today's Coast to Coast Pick 5 sequence begins with Gulfstream Park, race number 9. Post time is 1:20 p.m. Pacific time. And also we've been talking about the $1 Sunset Pick 6. 2-day carryover of $64,000 in the $1 Sunset Pick 6. That will begin with Gulfstream Park race 8. Post time for Gulfstream Park race 8 is 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Keep in mind, live racing resumes tomorrow. We've got a tremendous 10-race card. If you're taking a look at the weekend's cards here at Santa Anita, we're back on the turf course. Great racing, big fields. Make sure you join us then. Until then, best of luck on both of the Pick 6 carryovers today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to the Great Race Place, Santa Anita Park. The track is fast. There were no turf races scheduled. And our track conditions brought to you by John Deere. Here are the changes. Nothing new to report. In race 1, we kick off the early pick 5. No scratches or jockey changes. Note that the Sunset 6 starts with Gulfstream's 8th, and that is coming up very soon over at Gulfstream Park. 7th race is about 18 minutes away, and then we start the Sunset 6. Should be a huge pool with 64,000 plus in the carryover. In the second scratch 3, Desert Cat, no show wagering with the 4-horse field. In the third, there are no changes. The fourth starts our $2 pick 6, and that pick 6 has a carryover of $34,288. Race 5 is the start of the late pick 5, no changes. And the 6 kicks off the late pick 4 with no scratches. The 7th starts the late pick 3. No scratches there. The $5 late double begins with race number 8. Just one blinker note there. And in the 9th, super high 5 wagering is offered. And no changes in race 9. Enjoy Free Friday here at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the openers in 27 minutes. Have a great day and best of luck. 12:30 first post. And they're off.
Cyberknife was a very talented horse from day one. Fast horse, able to carry it around.
Well, you couldn't ask for a more glorious day than the one that we have presented with here at Santa Anita Park. I'm Michelle Yu, joined by Zoe Cadman. We've got Millie Ball somewhere out in there. What was that? What is this?
That was my hello.
Oh, happies. Okay, I thought you went like this. Like
I'm happy.
Okay. Happy. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to a great day of racing at Santa Anita Park, the great race place in Arcadia, California. We've got 9 races on tap for you today.
Or eight.
No, we have 9.
We have 9?
Pretty sure we have 9. Do we? We have 9.
We have 9.
Oh, you scared me.
Okay.
Zoe has 8 for you. I'll follow up for the last
I've got
one.
8 for you. We do have a pick 6 carryover that does start in race number 4, not race number 3. We also have a Sunshine pick 6 carryover that does start at Gulfstream Park, race number 8. So lots to look forward to today.
Including an early pick 5, which does commence in this lid lifter, of which we have a maiden optional race going 6 furlongs. A field of 6 is assembled. And Zoe, your current favorite is the 4, Improbable You, 2-1 here on the board. It was also the best turned out.
Yes, she looked terrific coming over here. Gets the blinkers on for trainer Jonathan Thomas. As usual here in Southern California, having a super meet, winning at 24%. You're getting Freysu replacing the injured Rispoli. And you're just looking at a horse who's had a couple of really good races under her belt. So she is the deserved favorite, but it's not a one-horse race. She'll get the blinkers on. Jonathan Thomas, 11% with the blinkers on angle. I'm actually a little bit more intrigued by this filly with the big ears. That's 80s Music. 3-year-old filly by Tis the Law, one of 2 in here for trainer Richard Boltis. She'll be a first-time starter. Comes in with some snappy works. Her Damn Dawn Chorus was second on debut for Bill Mott. Now that was going 6 furlongs on the synthetic track, but I'm just really intrigued by these works, Michelle. They're all down at San Luis Rey. You've got a minute flat, 47-2 out of the gate, 47-4. This looks like a filly who could pop on debut, and she gets Jaramillo, who's been very, very good of late.
Yeah, especially if she has any early gas, especially from the rail. I feel like those 3 things combined could really push her in for a debut win. Unfortunately, the Southern California Workout Report was slacking this week and didn't get down to the San Luis Rey to get any of those work. So I don't know how good they were, but on paper, they appear very, very good. Looking at the other first-time starters, the 5 is McSniper for Peter Miller, also with some snappy San Luis Rey drills.
Yeah, she looks good out here. Peter Miller just a little bit light with his first-time starters right now. The side does get you 9 debut winners, filly by Creative Cause. Creative Cause, a lot of people have forgotten. He is a very, very good sire. And this one, of course, bred by Brett Jones in Kentucky. Peter Miller just 2 for 25 right now. So I think I'm just going to go with maybe some hotter connections. How about Phil D'Amato on the outside? Kintrigue, a first-timer by McKinsey out of a toneless mare, comes in with some decent works, gets a good cozy outside draw. I just wish she'd wake up a little bit.
Yeah, she is very low key out here. Look at that tail. She's tired from carrying the tail that weighs down the world there. That is the longest tail I've ever seen.
Yeah, she definitely looks fit. Chad Brown has not had a chance to chop that tail off. So well done, Phil D'Amato there. She looks fit. We'll see how much more animated she gets when she gets on the racetrack.
I feel like looking at her, she might want to go a route of ground. Like maybe not physically as much, but looking at her workouts and pedigree-wise, she's by McKinsey out of a toneless mare. And I feel like she would be very happy going a mile.
Most likely. And perhaps she's just super classy. And she's like, yeah, they did this with me the other morning. We schooled in the paddock. I know what's going on, guys.